break down the big environmental issue with some chill vibes and real talk. So, I'm Irene and I'm joined by the usual crew, which is my gang with Echo Vibe again. So, hi guys.
Hi everyone. So my name is Qaisara and I'm excited to talk about the corporate responsibilities of today.
My name is ZAFIRAH and I hope you guys enjoy this podcast.
Hey there, my name is Neha and I'm thrilled to join the show. I've been following your episode and it's an honor to be part of the discussion.
What's good to everyone? I'm NORMAIZATUL. Alright.
Okay, for segment 1, where we will discuss about what even is environmental governance and corporate responsibility. So to kick things off, can someone break down environmental governance or make it sound fancy? But what's the deal?
Okay, so basically it's like a big team effort involving governments, companies and NGOs. So everyone is trying to figure out how we treat our planet. It's about rules, it's about decision making, it's about sharing power so we don't trash the place, we don't ruin the place.
And corporate responsibility is how companies fit into that, not just making money but actually owning up to the impact on the environment and society. ESG or environmental, social and government frameworks come in here. They're like report cards for companies on how green and ethical they are.
But don't a lot of ESG reports feel like a bunch of corporate marketing fluff? Like, look how green we are, but not really changing anything.
Exactly, that's called greenwashing and it's a huge problem. That's why legal enforcement is so important.
What's your comment about this, about global law and why they're struggling to enhance our environmental?
So international law traditionally focus on countries, but now big multinational companies basically run the show with global supply chains. The problems? Laws can't keep up and companies sometimes dodge responsibility because it's complicated to be accountable.
Oh my god, that's why.
It reminds me of the Rana Plaza collapse in Bangladesh. Do you know?
Yeah, a real life disaster.
Yeah, a real life disaster workers were forced into an unsafe building that eventually collapsed. It was a tragedy that showed just how badly corporate accountability can fail.
Yeah, they just outsource all the risky work to bases with legal laws, right? No one thinks things got messy.
Segment 3. Let's move on to the segment 3. Rana Plaza and the EU's game-changing directive. Exactly, the Rana Plaza disaster killed over 1,100 people. The factory that made clothes for major global brands. But those brands claim not our problem because they did not directly on the factories.
Seriously?
Wow.
Like, shouldn't we give responsibility to them?
That's what was a big loophole. But now the EU is stepping in with the corporate sustainability due diligence directive, CSDDD, basically saying, hold up, you are responsible for your full supply chain. So companies have to check these, fix problems, check the risks, and victims can even sue the EU courts.
Finally, something. It's about preventing disasters like Rana Plaza from ever happening again.
Sounds good, but is it working? Enforcement is always tricky.
Let's talk about the same issue, I guess. Like Shell Nigeria, which is pollution, lawsuit and accountability. Like speaking of tough cases, like that oil spilling mess has been going on for decades. So how about you guys think?
For my opinion, right, community in the Niger Delta has suffered huge environmental damage from oil spill and gas flaring. Activists like Qaisara River fought against it but faced brutal backlash.
Legally, it's complicated too, because lawsuits have dragged on for years. Shell did settle with some communities, but holding corporations accountable for environmental harm in countries with weak legal system is tough.
But there's hope. The EU climate rulings and supply chain laws like CSDDD are pushing companies to take responsibility worldwide and not in their own country only.
So, what's the takeaway here? Companies can't just outsource dirty work anymore, and global laws are catching up. But there's a long way to go.
For sure, but the fact that these legal tools exist and are evolving giving us hopes.
Okay, plus, knowing story like Rana Plaza and also Shell Nigeria help us understand why corporate accountability matters beyond just headlines.
And we all have a role. Consumers, governments, companies. It's to push for transparency and real action.
Exactly. International law might be slow, but it's critical in shaping a future where businesses respect themselves and other people.
Alright crew, thanks for vibing with us today. Remember to stay curious, stay critical and keep the planet in mind. Peace!
See you next time on EcoVibes.
Peace you.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Welcome back to Green Talks, the podcast where we break down environmental law, corporate responsibility, and all the juicy drama behind how businesses affect our planet. Okay, so I'm Irene, your resident legal geek with a passion for making this heavy topic a bit more fun.
Hi, I'm NURJEHA. I'm here to keep things real and bring in some global perspective. This episode is gonna be so deep, but we're gonna make it as chill as your favorite Sunday morning.
Okay, hi all. My name is NISAQ. I'm super excited about today's episode because we are digging into two major stories: the tragedy Rana Plaza collapse and Shell environmental law battles in Nigeria. Both big reminders of why corporate responsibility matters.
So hi everyone, ZAFIRAH here. I'll be bringing a straight talk to break down legal jargon and explain what all those treaties and laws mean to regular people.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Qaisara, and I love exploring how communities get impacted by all this and what we can do about it. So let's get started.
Okay, so first off, what do we mean when we say corporate responsibility in the environment? It's basically the idea that companies shouldn't just chase profit, right? They gotta think about how their actions impact the planet and people.
Right, and internationally, we have got frameworks like ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance, pushing companies to be accountable not just financially but ethically too.
Okay, but here's the catch. ESG rules are often voluntary, so some companies do the bare minimum or even greenwash. That's where they pretend to be eco-friendly but are really not.
And legally, it's even trickier. International law traditionally focuses on countries, not companies. So when big multinational mess up, who holds them accountable?
Exactly, and this gap means lots of harm happens in places with weaker laws, like factories in Bangladesh or oil fields in Nigeria.
That brings us to the two big case studies we are unpacking today: Rana Plaza in Bangladesh and Shell in Nigeria. Both show why we need to tougher enforceable rule.
Alright, let's start with Rana Plaza. Okay, the deadliest government factor disaster in history. Anyone want to recap what happened?
So sure, in April 2013 in Dhaka, Bangladesh, an 8-story building housing multiple garment factories start showing cracks. However, the workers want to stay out, but bosses forced them to work anyway. So the building collapsed, over 1,100 people died. So tragic.
And it wasn't just an accident, it was a result of exploitation and negligence. The building was illegally constructed, safety ignored, and workers were too scared but had no choice.
What surprised me is how global brands source from Rana Plaza but distance themselves from responsibility. They claim factories were independent and audits were done, but actually those audits didn't stop the tragedy from happening.
Yeah, that's highlight a massive legal gap. Brands profit from cheap labor but avoid legal consequences for abuses in their supply chain.
But that's in progress. The EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence (CSDDD) introduced rules that will have made companies legally responsible for these risks.
Right, so companies now environment harms and victim can sue in EU courts. So if CSDDD had existed in 2013, maybe Rana Plaza victims could have gotten justice.
It's a game changer because it moves from voluntary codes to actual legal obligations. That's what corporate responsibility looks like.
But I wonder, how is it easy to enforce? Can big brands really be held accountable for every factory they outsource to?
That's a good question actually. Enforcement is a big challenge, but at least CSDDD pushes companies to be more transparent and proactive.
Alright, switching gears to Shell in Nigeria. This case is about environmental damage from oil spills and gas flaring in the Niger Delta.
Yeah, decades of pollution have devastated local communities. Poison water, destroyed farmland, and hurt people health.
Shell's been sued multiple times. So the Ogoni people, led by Qaisara brought global attention in the 90s. Even after the decision was executed, which shocked the world, but the fight for justice didn't stop.
There was also the Boru company settlement for $83 million for 2 oil spills, but still many argue Shell hasn't fully taken responsibility or cleaned up.
This case is important actually because it highlights how multinational corporations can cause environmental harms in countries with weaker governance and how legal systems struggle to hold them accountable.
But there's hope. The Dutch court ruling in 2021 ordered Shell to cut emissions globally.
So, what are the big takes over here? What can we actually learn here? And what can we do?
Okay, for me, it was voluntary measures are not enough. Legal framework like CSDDD give it to corporate responsibility.
And companies need to be accountable not just for what they directly do, but what happens down the supply chain.
Plus, the governments and international organizations must cooperate better. Pollution or exploitation anyway affect us all.
And as for consumers, we can demand transparency and support companies committed to sustainability, so our buying choices actually matter.
I totally agree with you. It's a collective effort actually. Law, businesses.
Alright friend, that's a wrap for today's episode. Hopefully, we will give you some food for thought about corporate accountability and environmental justice.
So if you like this video, share with your friends. The more people know, the more pressure we can put on the big businesses.
And remember, no matter how small, every action counts in protecting our planet.
Thank you for vibing with us, and stay curious and keep pushing for a greener, fairer world.
So, just